Chapter 21, Lesson 3 and 4. Lesson 3 is the area of a parallelogram. Lesson 4 is the area of a triangle. So Lesson 3 is to find the area of a parallelogram. If you can see the diagram, we have a parallelogram with a base of 30. The base is 30 and the height is 15. So over here the formula is area equals base times height. It's the same way we looked for the area of complex figures. Base times height. So here the base is 30. And the height is 15. So you multiply those two together and our area was 450 square feet. Remember that if it's not labeled correctly, it will be wrong on your test. So 450 square feet. They're not always going to write it like they do here. They're going to have it labeled that way. So here on number 1, we have a figure with 3 different numbers. Now again, the formula is base times height. Base can be in 2 places. It can be at the top or it can be at the bottom. Your height could be on either side as well. But when we're doing parallelograms, the height is how tall a figure is. So we're only going to multiply 2 numbers. So we're going to use 10. And we're not going to use 5. Because 5 is just the length of that line. We want the height. And 4 meters over here shows us from here, from the top to the bottom, it is 4 meters. So we're going to use 4 as our height. So 10 times 4 equals 40 meters. 40 square meters, because we're looking for the area, not the perimeter, the area. So it's 40 square meters. Here, number 2, we've got 2 inches, 2 inches, and 1.5 inch right there in the middle. 1.5 is telling us how tall it is from the top to the bottom. So here we got from the top to the bottom. So this is going to be 2, or 1.5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is 30. And we move our decimal 1 place to the left. So our answer is going to be 3. So the area of number 2 would be 3 square inches. And there are the answers: 40 meters squared, or 40 square meters, and 3 square inches. So here at the top, we have the formula, base times height, so 8.5 times 4 equals 34. So here's their homework. Let's try number 6. We have 5, 10, and 8. Again, the 8 inches tells us how tall this is from the top to the bottom. And of course our base is the 5. So this is going to be 8 times 5, and the answer is going to be 40 square inches. We don't need to use the 10 because the 10 is just telling us how far it is from here to here. So we're just looking for the height. Number 2, we have 8, 2, and 6. Again, we have 2 that we're going to use for the base, and then we're going to use 6 because 6 tells us the height of this figure. So 6 times 2 is 12 square meters. And that is all that you need to know for area of a parallelogram. Next, we're going to look at the area of a triangle. Okay, the area of a triangle. Now, I crossed off some of the information they gave us down here because this is the numbers they use are much too large from what they're really going to be doing. But you do need to know the formula. So the formula is area equals half the base times height, or 0.5 of the base times the height. The way I like to do it is base times height divided by 2, and they get their answer. So I'll give you an example. If we use the formula they give us, half the base times the height. So the base is right here, 6. So half of the base would be 3 times the height, which is 4, and your answer would be 12 square inches. They also give you 0.5 times the base times the height. Because if you go 0.5 times 6, you're going to get 30. You have 1 decimal place, so you can move that over to your right, and you're going to be left with 3. Then you would take that 3, times it to 4, and get 12 like I did before. So either way is okay, you'll get the same answer. I also show them base times height divided by 2. Because the base is 6, the height is 4, and you divide that by 2. So 6 times 4 is 24. 24 divided by 2 equals 12. So there's 3 ways that they can do it, and hopefully one of them will click. That'll help them get the right answer. Here's a couple other problems. Number 1, we have 4/5. So the base is 5 and the height is 4. So we're going to go 5 times 4 is 20. Half of that is going to be 10 inches squared. Now if you wanted to take half of the base, half of 5 of course is 250, or 2.5, times the height, which is 4. So base times the height, you get 20, 10. We have 1 decimal point, so we move that over to the right, so we have 10. So we still get 10 either way. Now they're not always going to give you a square or a parallelogram. They're going to give you a word problem, and you'll have to draw it yourself. For example, number 1 says, what is the area of a parallelogram that has a base of 6 inches and a height of 7 inches? Well, if they just give you 2 numbers, you know all you have to do is multiply 7 times 6, and you'll get 42. So parallelogram, again, this is a rectangle, but a parallelogram is more of this. So they could draw it and say a base of 6 inches and a height of 7 inches. And 7 times 6 is 42. They might also try to trick you with a problem like number 6. Number 6 says, what is the area of a parallelogram that has a side length of 18 inches, a base of 15 inches, and a height of 40 inches? Again, they're giving you 3 numbers. but the formula to find a parallelogram is base times height. So you only need 3 of those numbers. It says, what is the area of a parallelogram that has a side of 18 inches, a base of 15 inches, and a height of 40? So right there we know that we need the base of 15 and the height of 40. We don't need the 18 inches. So you'd multiply 40 times 15. And of course you get 600. C. And you'll tell they can do the same thing with triangles. Number 10, what is the area of a triangle with a base and height of 6 millimeters each? Base and height. So half the base, we know is going to be 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Or you could have done 6 times 6 equals 36, and 36 divided by 2 equals 18. Here's a couple of their homework problems. Number 2, we have 2 and 8. So the base is 8, the height is 2. So 2 ways we can do it is we can do half of the base. So half of 8 times 2. Half of 8 is 4. So 4 times 2 is 8, and that would be your answer. Or you can just go 8, which is the base, times 2, which is the height. You get 16, divide it by 2, and get 8. Number 6, we have a base of 10 and a height of 4. So half the base times the height. Half of 10 is 5. So half the base is 5 times 4 equals 20. Or 10 times 4 equals 40. And 40 divided by 2 equals 20. So number 6, the answer would be 20 square feet.